and it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
What's all gone?
What's gone? Well, our yearly planetary resources are gone. In case you haven't heard, on August 2nd, Earth Overshoot Day happened again. So let's talk about that. Earth Overshoot Day marks the date when humanity's demand for ecological resources and services in a given year exceeds what Earth can regenerate in that year. Earth Overshoot Day is hosted and calculated by the Global Footprint Network, an international research organization that provides decision makers with a menu of tools to help the human economy operate within Earth's ecological limits. So let's have a look at some graphs. So around 1972 we consumed about 1 Earth per year. By now in 2023 that's 1.7 Earths per year. And that's kind of a problem, because if this would be your bank account, then you would be in a lot of debt and you probably have to sell your home. But in this case, we're actually talking about our home, our planet, and we cannot just cancel that debt because this debt is real. It's not just on paper. But the problem is even worse, because every country tries to increase their growth each year. That's why we have this infinite growth economy. So when would Earth Overshoot Day land if the world's population lived like, for example, Qatar? Well, then it will be on February 10th. And if the world's population would live like the United States, it will be on March 13th. And if they would live like the Netherlands, it will be on April 12th. So all these countries are either developing or already developed, and they continuously try to increase their growth, or in other words, try to destroy the planet that keeps us alive. So what would be a solution? Well, some people say let's all go to solar, wind, and all kinds of renewable power. That would be the solution, right?
You serious?
Well, of course it's not the solution, because you still apply this infinite growth paradigm. Each year you want to grow more and more. That will not work, even with renewable energy. I highly recommend people to check out this podcast from The Great Simplification. And in this episode they talk about our energy blindness. And basically the key take is that renewables are the right answer to the wrong question. We shouldn't ask ourselves how we can perpetuate our current infinite growth economy. That will never work, even with renewables. We need degrowth. We need a steady state economy in balance with what the Earth can provide. Anything less will result in major issues. Unless we can mine other planets and asteroids, but we're far away from that. So we need to do more with less. We need to apply the same type of thinking as we do for our planned Moon and Mars bases. We need to plan based on the carrying capacity of the environment and our needs. Currently we have a utopian economy, or maybe a better term for it is a Mordor economy, where we blindly consume with little to no regard for the social and environmental consequences. So I highly recommend to check out this podcast. Just go to tcm.one and search for Minerals and Materials Blindness. So we need to make our logistics more efficient. Localization rather than globalization. We need to make products last longer by making them modular and thus easy to upgrade, repair and recycle, as I discussed in my Fairphone episode. I have one right here as well. We need to change our economy to a more sustainable one, instead of this profit-motivated, planned obsolescence-oriented, focused on short-term profits with long-term waste as a result in this infinite growth economy.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
If the current economy was inside your body, then your doctor would likely diagnose you with cancer. Cancer is infinite growth, and if you're unfortunate, it will only stop when the host of that cancer dies. And that's, by the way, us, all of us, in case you were not paying attention. But this video is actually a positive one, because what can we do about this? Well, long-lasting change comes from understanding better solutions, which makes the old way obsolete. In the previous episode, I talked about an activist routine within the Zeitgeist movement, which is a social and educational movement. Please check out that video. And in that video, I also discussed that I would talk more about the things that you need to set up within your chapter, which is a local group within the Zeitgeist movement. And more specifically, an information base. That's what you need for your educational activities. So let's have a look at that. So this information base is actually your chapter's website. So what do you include on that? Well, in order to do proper activism, it's important to write down what the Zeitgeist movement's train of thought is about. So you should dedicate a page on just explaining what it is in your local language in plain words. And the TCM Define book, which was released in 2014, may help you do this. And also by doing this exercise, it also helps you to articulate better the Zeitgeist train of thought. Also, you should dedicate a page with frequently asked questions and associated answers, because then you can manage your time better by linking to this page when frequently asked questions pop up in emails, chats, or whatever. Furthermore, you should also include a contact form based on email, because email is an open standard which everyone has and can use on multiple operating systems and apps. You should also include a blog where you can post your activism reports with RSS. And RSS allows you to automate the post creation on your social media, but you maintain this constant anchor on the internet, because if, for example, Facebook dies out, which might be in a few years, then at least you still have the same content and you can just easily repost it on other places and people can still easily find you. Also include a page about how to get involved by including your meeting schedule, events, and information about, for example, your teams. Also a page which includes important lectures, podcasts, and documents. A page dedicated to local solutions that ease the path for a transition towards a natural law resource-based economy. And also think then about the 5 great economic transitions, such as open source, automation, localization, digital feedback, and strategic access. Also keep in mind an easy to navigate and read website. Less is more. Also investigate how you can improve search engine optimization to increase your online exposure. And also do take GDPR regulations into account when processing personal information and make sure you also have a privacy statement. So an example for that could be the Zeitgeist Movement Netherlands website, which I perfected over the past decade, based on feedback from different organizations and from people with different backgrounds. So let's quickly go through it. We start off with a small abstract explaining what the Zeitgeist movement is all about, and then some links here which zoom into more detail. I'll show you those links in a bit. Then there's a section here about our core values, which explains our relationship with science, technology, nature, and sustainability. And by explaining this, you prevent people from adding their own interpretations, which often lead to false conclusions and disinformation about, for example, the Zeitgeist movement. You want to prevent that. Then we have a section about our team, so people that are already familiar with us can just quickly zoom into the activities. Then we have a section about contact and news, for example, the email stuff, which is very good because it's an open standard, everyone has it. Then a public calendar, which everyone can also add to their own personal calendar so they can automatically be informed about new events. Then a blog, where we post our content, our updates, also blog posts in itself, and we automatically distribute it through RSS on our social media. And then, of course, we have our social media. And as you can see here at the bottom, we have our privacy statement, but also a language switcher. Our website is not completely translated. That's on purpose because this website is mainly oriented for the Dutch chapter, so our local language is Dutch. But we still have, of course, some people that are expats, and some parts of this website are in English. So for example, this landing page here is in English, except for these things to zoom into the more deeper parts of the movement. And that's because we don't have the time to translate all that stuff and keep it up to date. So if we click on the Explore More button, we come at a page that's actually an article. And it explores things like human nature, economy, democracy, and also a summary about all that, and a sort of transition plan. At least it discusses a form of transition, where we talk about automation, access, open source, localization, and digital feedback. But also what you can already do now to help ease the transition towards a resource-based economy. Then we also have a button here about getting involved with the movement. It explains what to expect from the movement, but also 3 simple steps, like read that article that I just showed, and then do a short Z-quiz to test that knowledge. And then follow our social media so that you keep track on what we're doing, mainly our subreddit, and also contact us by email so that we actually have your contact details also for the future. And add our public calendar so that you can attend our chapter meetings. And here explains our chapter meetings and other events that we host. We also have dedicated pages about the movies, the series, the books, and of course also Zeit-Talks itself. and, like I mentioned already, the contact form. And not to forget, we also have a frequently asked questions page dedicated to frequently asked questions, which really helps us manage our time better because we can just link to these when these questions pop up. That's about it in a nutshell. So I hope this is very useful for you and it helps you to develop your website and thus also your chapter activities. If you have any questions, then please just go to tcm.one, that's the forum that you just saw, and also go to zeitgeistbeweging.nl if you're Dutch, so you can also join our chapter. I hope you enjoyed this, and I see you in the next episode.